Hi everybody! If you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I'm a gut health nutrition coach. I help people to overcome their chronic gut and digestive issues at the root using the principles of ancestral nutrition and some other holistic health principles as well. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 foods to avoid if you want to heal your gut. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, if you have gut issues, if you have bloating, constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, acid reflux, autoimmune issues, IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, any other gut issues, and you want to know what foods are the most important to avoid to make sure that you are healing your gut and that you will overcome these, then keep on watching. And before we get too far into the video, I do want to let you guys know that I do have a couple of spots open in my program, Ancestral Gut Healing, which is essentially a program where we get to the root cause of your gut issues, and then I walk you through step by step how to overcome these issues at the root, how to really heal your gut, how to heal the lining of your gut, how to optimize your digestive system, how to improve your microbiome and nourish your body and just really thrive. So if it's something you're interested in, be sure to stick around to the end and I will talk more about that. But back to today's video, I am just going to jump into the top 5 foods to avoid to heal your gut. So number 1 is a group of foods. So that's going to be high anti-nutrient foods. And if you have not heard of anti-nutrients, I have a whole video about that. So I will link that below. But basically anti-nutrients are plant defense mechanisms. So plants do not want to be eaten, but they can't run away and they can't fight back. So they put these compounds they produce these compounds and they put most of them in the seeds because the seeds are the plant's baby. It's their way of reproducing. They really don't want you to eat the seeds. And these seeds these anti-nutrients are not good for you. They can cause harm, especially one called lectins can lead to leaky gut. They're just notorious for being very difficult to digest, for scraping the edges of your digestive tract, causing leaky gut, and just really messing up your digestive tract and giving you uncomfortable symptoms so that you won't want to keep going back and eating them, and then the plant can live its happy life. So that's the gist of anti-nutrients. Like I said, I have a whole video about that, so I'll link it below if you're interested. But so high anti-nutrient foods are going to be the seeds of the plant. So grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. We really want to avoid these when healing our gut. Once you have a nice healed and sealed gut, a healthy microbiome, no more symptoms, then you can have these properly prepared. So that means you soak them, sprout them, ferment them, or cook them. Cooking is usually not enough for most of these. You can toast your nuts or seeds, that'll help a lot, but for the grains, we really need to soak or ferment or sprout them first. And this just helps to decrease the anti-nutrient content, and then we can digest them so much easier. So now that I've healed my gut, I have rice from time to time, but I always soak it in water and a little vinegar overnight, and that helps to decrease the anti-nutrients. But for now, if you have really bad gut issues, you don't want to have these at all, or at least very minimally. And even though it's already in this category, there are 2 subcategories of this that I want to emphasize to really avoid, and that's going to be gluten. Gluten isn't inherently evil, even though it might sound like it, but gluten does cause leaky gut or worsen leaky gut. So if you have gluten from time to time and it's like a nice sourdough bread and you have a healthy gut, like that's fine, don't worry about it. But if you already have a damaged gut and you already have leaky gut, having gluten is going to impede your body's ability to heal it, because gluten triggers this compound in our body called zonulin, which increases the permeability or leakiness of our gut. So we have to take a break from gluten to make sure that we really give our body time to fully heal our gut lining and fully seal it back up again. So that's why you want to avoid gluten here. I am not saying gluten is terrible all the time. It's just not good if you have gut issues. The other one I want to emphasize is soy. So soy is technically a bean. It's a legume. So I already said don't eat the beans and legumes. But soy is one that I would really avoid all the time, always. It has a specific anti-nutrient called isoflavin. And this is where the phytoestrogen comes into play. the phytoestrogens come into play. Basically, you've probably heard about this before, but soy has these phytoestrogens in it that mimic estrogen in our body, and they will bind to estrogen receptors and actually cause the same response a lot of the time as estrogen. So basically, they just like ramp up estrogen in our body. And while that's probably obviously not good for men, it's also not good for women either, because we need a balance between our progesterone and our estrogen to have healthy cycles, to have healthy fertility, to have health overall. So we don't want this boost of estrogen, and soy has really been shown to boost our estrogen and just not be good for us. And it's a legume that's hard on your gut, so avoid soy. So then, yeah, I think that sums up that one pretty well. So that's a huge category to avoid. This made a massive difference for me when I had gut issues, when I started cutting out this category. Oh my God, my symptoms just like stopped. It was amazing. So then my second one is seed oils, which you've also probably heard a lot of. So basically, these are also called vegetable oils. They're the oil from the seed of a plant. So this can be sunflower oil, safflower oil, soy oil, canola oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, grapeseed oil, rice bran oil. Those are the most common ones, but basically anything coming from the seed. So remember, the seed is a grain, a nut, a legume, or a seed. So basically, in super short, because you've probably heard it everywhere, the problem with seed oils is they're very high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, which basically is just the structure of most of the fat inside of them. They have other things, but they're just high in these ones that are very prone to oxidation. I won't get into the whole chemistry, but basically just the structure of it leaves a lot of open gaps for oxygen to be able to come in, and then it creates these things called free radicals, which are basically just compounds or little like elements or whatever missing an electron, and they are really unhappy that they don't have their last electron because they want 8 electrons, and they go around wreaking havoc trying to find their electron. And I know that's super sciencey, but and also not, because it was kind of goofy. But anyway, when you eat these seed oils, they're really, really inflammatory, and the polyunsaturated fatty acids on their own aren't really a problem, because like salmon is high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, but it's still a healthy food. The problem is that they are pulled out of the seed, so they're more protected in the seed, but now they're extracted, and they're extracted with heat and chemicals. So heat just increases oxidation, and chemicals are obviously not good for you either. So there's a lot of processing that basically oxidizes the fat. So you are basically buying a bottle of oxidized fat that's full of free radicals, and it's really horrible and super, super inflammatory in your body. So if you want to learn more about that, I have articles on it. There's articles and videos everywhere about seed oils now, which is awesome because it's a horrible food for you. So, another thing to be mindful with seed oils is most restaurants use seed oils, unfortunately, just because they're a lot cheaper. So it is best if you can cook for yourself while you are healing your gut. Well, all the time, but it's best to cook for yourself as much as possible. If you are going out, it's very, very difficult to avoid seed oils, but I would say definitely avoid fried foods, because this is seed oils that they're reheating over and over and over and over again, and they're very, very oxidized and very inflammatory. So definitely avoid the fried foods. But if you eat out every once in a while, I eat out a few times a year, like when visiting family or something, I just don't worry about it because it's so infrequent. But make sure at home you're not cooking with seed oils. Check your ingredients. They love to throw it in everything. And you know, you don't have to be 100% perfect, but the best you can be, the better you will feel. So then the third food I have to definitely avoid is inorganic foods. And I know that organic can be more expensive, so this is not 100% black and white rule here, but hear me out. So the main thing here is we want to avoid glyphosate, which is also called Roundup. So basically, like 9 billion kilograms are sprayed annually in the whole world of glyphosate. And a lot of that is in the US too. So if you're in the US like me, there's like more here than other places. And glyphosate does the same thing that gluten does. but worse actually. It triggers zonulin in our body to loosen up those gaps in our gut lining and cause leaky gut. But I've talked about this before, but I just think it's so fascinating. Glyphosate seeps, so it makes our gut leaky, then it seeps through the gut lining, and it will take the place of glycine, which is an amino acid in our joints and connective tissue, and it likes to take its place, and then over time you can develop joint-related autoimmune issues because of this, and your body will go up to the joint and it'll be like, something's wrong here, and then it will start destroying the joint because something's wrong, it's full of glyphosate. So this is not something you want, especially if you already have leaky gut, if you already have gut issues, if you already have autoimmune diseases. You really, really want to avoid glyphosate. And it's just such a common weed killer that it's on a lot of food. So this is why we want to prioritize organic. Now, if you are worried about expenses, because that's something that I hear from people a lot, they're worried that they won't be able to heal their gut because they can't afford all organic food. Now, I don't want to deter you. You can still heal your gut. There are just some other things to do. So one thing you can do is always buy seasonally. Seasonal food is going to be cheaper because there's just a higher amount. There's a higher supply of it around you, so it will be cheaper. Also, just do the best you can. Buy organic what you can. You can prioritize certain foods like, well, I guess corn is a grain. The main things sprayed with glyphosate you will be avoiding because that's corn, wheat, and soy. So that's good. But you can also look up, there's something called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And the Clean 15 are just 15 produce items that just don't tend to be sprayed with pesticides very often. They grow easily without them. So you can be a little more lenient on those. I don't have them memorized, but if you look it up, it tells you right away. It's really easy to find. And then the Dirty Dozen are 12 produce items that are very commonly sprayed with pesticides. So those are the ones you definitely want to get organic. You can also just kind of look at it like if it's berries, it's like, okay, if it was sprayed, it's like right on the berries. But if it's something like an orange and you're going to peel it off, it's a little less bad. So, you can use your judgment here. Obviously, if you can buy all organic, that is the best. If you can't, don't use that as an excuse for not healing your gut. You can still heal your gut. Just do your best. And like I said, look up that Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen. Eat seasonally. You can eat a little simpler. You can, if you have the room, start your own garden. There's lots of options. But basically, try to avoid glyphosate to the best of your ability. Definitely don't spray it in your backyard. That's really bad exposure. So, yeah, that's my little thing there. So then, let's see, number 4, processed foods. So especially anything with artificial ingredients, gums, food dyes, preservatives, refined sugar. There's going to be lots of seed oils, lots of refined grains, anything like this big whole center of the grocery store with all these packages and labels and just crappy food. You know what the crappy food is. Just avoid the crappy food. It's not nutrient rich and it's full of a lot of things that are not good for you and are just going to worsen your gut issues and overall health. So just cut out the processed food. So then my 5th one is alcohol. So alcohol is obviously not very good for you, but it's really bad if you have gut issues. It can really wipe out a bunch of your microbiome. Well, not like a bunch, but too much. It's not good for your gut microbiome. And then it can also feed some things that you don't want, like yeast, like candida. And then you can get candida overgrowth, and that can manifest in a lot of different uncomfortable ways. Yeah, it's bad for your gut microbiome. So then this can lead to bloating. It can lead to constipation. It can lead to diarrhea. It can lead to gas. It can lead to a lot of issues. Also, alcohol is not good for your liver, and your liver plays a very important role for your digestive tract with it releasing bile. And then also it has over 500 functions. Your liver is really important. So not having alcohol is really, really beneficial. And then another thing is certain types are even worse. So if this is a really hard one for you and you have to ease into it, I would say cut out beer first. That is the worst one for you because it's alcohol, so it's damaging your gut microbiome. It is gluten, so it is causing leaky gut, and it is very high in phytoestrogens, so it's also messing up your hormones. So definitely don't drink beer while you're trying to heal your gut. It will only impede your progress. I am not telling you you can never have it again. Obviously, you get to decide whatever you want to do, but I would really avoid alcohol while you are healing your gut. So yeah, these are the like 5 main food categories that I would honestly cut out completely. There are some exceptions, like if you're 95% good about cutting these out, I think you're doing great. But I would strive for cutting them out completely if you want the fastest, most effective, efficient route of healing your gut. I start all my clients off by cutting these out. Sometimes there's like 1 or 2 grains they can properly prepare and have okay. Also depends on the severity of your gut issues. But yeah, most people cutting these 5 out is going to do absolute wonders. But I do want to note that some people like who've had really bad gut issues for a long time do require a little bit stricter of a diet than this and do have to cut out a bit more. So with some of my clients who've had like ulcerative colitis for 8 years or things like that, we do have to get a little bit more strict. But in general, if you start by cutting out these 5 foods, you will be on a great track for your gut healing. Yeah, so if you want help customizing your own gut healing diet, your own gut healing protocol, really getting to the root of exactly what's causing your gut issues, and then just having that guidance and learning how you can overcome them, and yeah, having the guidance along the way to help you navigate any roadblocks, to answer questions for you, all of that kind of things, then you might be interested in my program, Ancestral Gut Healing, where I do exactly that. I help guide people through healing their gut in a very efficient, effective manner. Most of my clients really overcome their symptoms in 3 months. It's pretty amazing what you can do once you start really working on your diet and your lifestyle. Yeah, so if you want to learn more about that, you can book a call with me. I have a link right down below. I would love to talk to you and see if I could help you to heal your gut issues and see if you're interested in that. So yeah, if you want to learn more, just book a call with me. I'd love to talk with you, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe, share it with anyone you know that you think might benefit from it. All of those help me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you soon.